I've been doing concerts for 50 years. I'm still enjoying it. As Steve said, I'm the general manager here at the 18,000 seat arena in North Little Rock. Before that, I'm kind of going backwards, but I was an agent in Los Angeles in a company called Triad Artists, which later merged with the William Morris Agency, which is now called WME. But I was there, and we during the '80s when we represented Tina Turner, Whitney Houston, Robert Palmer, Steve Winwood, a lot of big '80s acts, and that's where I got my start was at Mississippi State University. In 1976, I was a senior in college and was named the concert chairman of the student body, and we had a coliseum there, Humphrey Coliseum, that I was again, obviously, it certainly was not in the management of that building, but I was the student booking shows in there. And the first show I booked successfully was this up and coming piano player that we paid $4,500 to, and his name was Billy Joel. And tickets were free to students and $3 for non-students. So
Wow.
that's where I got my start.
What a great story in a career you've had, Michael. And look, you've brought many major artists through North Little Rock there now for the last few decades. What's been your secret to making that market attractive to that top talent? Even though some people might not think that North Little Rock's the obvious stop on a tour, but you've managed to get some pretty big names there.
Yes, we have, Stephen, and I think there's many pieces to that puzzle. I like to tell people we like to pretend we're bigger than we are. And I have never thought that we weren't big enough to get any show. I've got a great staff. When on a day like today, where as we're recording this, we're doing Dancing with the Stars, and if I'm busy on the day of the show, then something's wrong. Because I got a great staff that takes care of the artist, and I'd say that's one of the big things that we do is, during my time as an agent, I had the good fortune of going out on the road with Tina Turner for a while. And I really got to see how things go in buildings. And I remember going to one building and they had this nasty, dirty catering area. And you're like, you could have done better than this. But, when you're on the road, it sounds very cool that, I got to go on the road with Tina Turner. But you know what? We had to meet in the lobby of the hotel at 2. Get in the van or the limo, get to the airport, because she would base out of one city and fly to each place that she went. And so, all that sounds very cool. But after a while, when you're getting back at 2 in the morning, you realize this is like the second shift of a job. So anything, we can do to make their life on the road easier is one of the things I try to do. And I think that, and the staff certainly shares that. We like to roll out the red carpet as much as we can. And then let's not lose track. I mean, it is about the money. And so, if our market didn't sell, none of this would matter. But, we are the main arena in the state of Arkansas. So we don't have a lot of competition. So we're a solid secondary market where tickets, normally sell and do well. So you combine that with some, as I said, good hospitality, and we support. I think about our marketing director, Janet DeGeorge. She helps out the whatever promoter's coming in. She's got all these assets, and she does everything she can to make sure the show succeeds. So and our box office has a real. They don't just put something on sale and watch it. If they see something that's going awry, or something needs to be done about a show, they'll jump out in front of it. And I think that kind of attitude and that kind of performance, makes us stand out, and people to, give us serious consideration.
Yeah, I can certainly, vouch for that, having both been to your venue and also know many of your staff there. The hospitality jumps out at you when you're there. There's no question. I think you did tell me also one time about, I think one of your things is the show is not on until the artist gets on the stage, right?
Yes.
Didn't you have an experience? Was it Elton John?
No, one Elton John. No, we've had Elton twice, and that's all been
Yep.
fine.
Yeah.
Actually, it was a show with Boys to Men, where to try to make that story not too long. They were there. They did the sound check. They did the opening act went on. The second act went on, and when it's time for Boys to Men go on, somebody got sick. and couldn't go on. And then you're like, we've got all these people. And that, it wasn't sold out, don't get me wrong. It wasn't a huge crowd, but it was big
Yeah,
enough.
yeah,
And fortunately, the people that, we gave them all refunds, but you're like, yeah, show is not confirmed until the artist goes on stage and stays. Because they had
yeah.
done a sound check, they had done everything, but somebody got sick, at
Last
at
minute.
the intermission, and decided they couldn't go on.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I can imagine the stress levels going through the roof.
Oh yes, it was not a fun time.
I bet.
Well, and, I laughed and said I got a call on the radio during the second intermission. Michael, can you come backstage? That's never a good radio call.
Look, just to wrap up now, Michael. Again, with all of your experience and your looking back and hindsight and everything else, for someone that's just looking to start in the venue or the live entertainment business today, what advice would you give them to put them on the road to success?
Well, the things that come to mind is put yourself out there. Don't be scared to try anything. I mean, I've been in the markets of Starkville, Mississippi, Tupelo, Mississippi, in the cosmopolitan center of the universe known as North Little Rock. So,
Yeah.
I've been in nothing but small places, but had good success at each one just
Mhm.
because I never thought I couldn't do something. I never thought we were
Yeah.
too small not to get something. I mean, let's try. I tell people when they talk about our building, I say, I've got a staff full of problem solvers. We're the building of yes, we're not the building of no. Let's figure it out. So I think some of those attitudes will serve you as you get into it, and and just look for those opportunities, take advantage of them, step out.